let's look at Job's physical appearance, chapter 7. Is not all human life a struggle? Our lives are like that of a hired hand, like a worker who longs for the shade, like a servant waiting to be paid. I too have been assigned months of futility, long and weary nights of misery. Lying in bed, I think, when will it be morning? But the night drags on and I toss until dawn. My body is covered with maggots and scabs. My skin breaks open, oozing with pus. That is his appearance. His flesh is covered with boils and maggots on top of the boils. And when his flesh breaks open, it oozes with pus. This is who they come across. And of course, that's who Eliphaz just got done telling Job, by the way, what did you do wrong? That is why you look the way you look. And many of you guys, you can think of times that you went to the hospital to visit a friend. Something drastic happened in their life. You go to the hospital, you look at them and you go, I physically can't recognize this person. They don't look the same because their body is so ravaged. Whether it's by cancer, by some kind of crazy accident, whatever it is, you look at it and you go, who are you? And it's amazing. His friends look at him, and we saw last week that they tore their clothes, and they're like, oh man, what are we going to do? And they didn't speak for 5 days. They didn't say anything. And then all they could think is, Job, what'd you do wrong? And that's when Eliphaz speaks. Well, this is Job, as before Bildad speak, he's continuing to cry out to God. So let's look at Job, because how many of you guys have ever cried out to God and told God what you really thought? It's weird to think that sometimes we cry out to God and tell God what we think. Like, he doesn't know what we think, but he knows what we think. But it's something healthy that we do, that we just cry out to God, whatever your complaint, whatever the situation. We cry out to God. And that's what you see in the poetical books. And that's what we're going to see as Job continues to do. And his buddy's just trying to be nice, trying to figure out how they can best help him. So here we go. Verse 6 of Job chapter 7. Well, let's look at verse 4 again, because I just like verse 4. Lying in bed, I think, when will it be morning? But the night drags on, and I toss till dawn. How many of you guys have been sick and you never thought morning would come? Don't you hate it? I mean, now here's the deal. This text, they say, was written in the second millennial of mankind. Man has been around 1,000 years. They believe this was written around then. They say it's written around 1500 BC. Maybe, well, that's when they say it was written, but they believe the events were even before that. They say the events took place probably when Abraham, pre-Israel, pre the law, resources were measured on an agrarian society, how many cattle you had, how much land you had. And we know that Job was very wealthy and he had it all, but he has lost it all. But we can tell that this is one of the earliest books ever written. This is the earliest book in the Old Testament that was penned down. Okay? This is the first book ever written in the Bible. It's the book of Job. And it's such a great personal expression between Job's friend, between Job and God. And what I find it amazing is I believe God wrote this. And isn't it amazing how it expresses our emotions even today? I mean, only God can do our emotions even today. Because I remember after getting my shoulder surgery, I remember lying on a couch because I couldn't get in bed on one side because I couldn't lay on my other side, and thinking to myself, this can't go fast enough. I can't get healed fast enough. And any of you have been in those situations, you're like, I just want to get better. And it seems like you're never going to get better. And I love the fact and night drags. And night just drags on. Then he describes him physically. Now he continues on. He cries out to God. Verse 6, my days fly faster than a weaver's shoulder. They end without hope. Isn't that hopelessness? Just, man, let's get it going. Oh God, remember that my life is but a breath, and I will never again feel happiness. You see me now, but not for long. You will look for me, but I will be gone, just as a cloud dissipates and vanishes. Those who die will not come back. They are gone forever from their home, never to be seen again. I cannot keep from speaking. I must express my anguish. My bitter soul must complain. And now he's going to direct his thoughts directly to God. Listen to this. He's no longer talking to Eliphaz. He's talking to God. And he goes, verse 12, am I a sea monster or a dragon? That you must place me under guard? Now, the Hebrew word for sea monster or dragon is tananin, and that's a Hebrew word. And he's saying, you have to watch over me. So now we're looking at his thought process, Job's thought process, and he's like, are you spying on me? Are you peering from behind the corner? You got your eyes on me? To check me out, to see what I'm doing all the time? That's his thought process. Verse 13, I think my bed will comfort me, and sleep will ease my misery, but then you shatter me with dreams and terrify me with visions. I would rather be strangled, rather die than suffer like this. I hate my life and don't want to go on living. Oh, leave me alone for my few remaining days. Phenomenal emotions. I mean, this is a counselor's nightmare when they walk into their office and go, oh yeah, by the way, I would rather be strangled, rather die than suffer like this anymore. I hate my life. I don't want to go on living. Oh, leave me alone for my few remaining days. What are people? Oh, this is good. What are people that you should make so much of us? Oh, what a transition. He goes from, I want to die, to, who are we? Why do you care so much about us? That you should think so often of us? For you examine us every morning and test us every moment. Why won't you leave me alone at least long enough for me to swallow? If I have sinned, what have I done to you, or watcher of all humanity? Why make me your target? Am I a burden to you? Why not just forgive me and take away my guilt? For soon I will lie down in the dust and die. When you look for me, I'll be gone. Chapter 8. Here comes Bildad, who is not nicer than Eliphaz. Bildad just jumps right in. Last week I said Eliphaz was the one that was going to correct all of Job's problems. Tell him why all this happened to him. And you all have friends, when something goes wrong, they come to you and go, let me tell you what went wrong in your life, and I'm going to tell you why. And you want to say, oh, thank you so much. Bildad. How long will you look on like this? You sound like a blustering wind. Go on like this. You sound like a bluster. Does God twist justice? ? Does the Almighty twist what is right? No, he doesn't. All your children died because somebody sinned. Maybe they sinned, so it's their fault. That's why God killed them all. Oh, what are friends for? To come to you and say, the reason your family has died is because they screwed up. So get over it. Brilliant. What a nice guy this is. Bildad. Job, it's a good thing Job is not feeling well and is full of boils and pus coming out of him. Doesn't look good and probably doesn't have enough energy to reach out and smack Bildad. Because Bildad is telling Job the reason your kids died, probably the reason you lost it all, because they're stinking sinners. Get over it. Nice Christian friend. Oh, you married an idiot. That's why your life sucks. It's your fault. And God isn't going to change it. How many times have somebody said something to you, and wouldn't it be great? A friend of mine called me the other day and he said, wouldn't it be great if blaming always worked? Wouldn't life just be spectacular? It's their fault. And yes, it is. Would that be fantastic? I mean, we would have no discussions. It's their fault. Hide and blame. If hide and blame worked, it would be spectacular. So Brother Bildad is blaming everybody. Then after he blames them, he challenged his security. Because one of the things that we got to have in life is security. Something that makes us feel secure. Now, of course, you guys that know the Lord, God is supposed to help you feel secure. It's supposed to make you feel secure. That if everything in life falls apart, God is your security. Now, that's not a real easy lesson to learn. And as a matter of fact, it's sometimes quite difficult. Now, let's just go with it is difficult. And so, Bildad is going to tell Job, here's the problem. Your security was in your cattle. Your security was in your house. Your security was in all the stuff that you own. That's why it's gone. Verse 15, they cling to their home for security, but it won't last. They try to hold it tight, but it will not endure. Because you're godless. The godless seem like a lush plant growing in the sunshine. Its branches spreading across the garden. Its roots grow down through a pile of stone. It takes hold on bedrocks. But when it is uprooted, it as though it has never existed. That's the end of its life, and others spring up from the earth to replace it. Verse 20, but look, God will not reject a person of integrity. Sorry, Job, you're not a person of integrity. Nor will he lend a hand to the wicked. He will once again fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy. Those who hate you will be clothed with shame, and the home of the wicked will be destroyed. Job chapter 9, he gets to speak out, and we gotta check this out. Job knows God. Okay? For you guys that have been through tragic moments in your life, you've lost a child, a loved one, somebody close, some tragedy has come upon your life. You know you either get bitter or better. You either run to God or you run away from God. Job never runs from God. It's an amazing book. He never runs from God. He's accused, and maybe he's thinking, I should be accused. Because don't you always try to figure out why something heads south in your life? And that's all Job's trying to figure out. And of course, his buddies, they're going, yeah, Job, Eliphaz, you've sinned, you've screwed up, God is punishing you. Oh, thank you. Bildad, oh, by the way, you know why your kids are not here? They died because they sinned. And by the way, your security was in your riches and your wealth. And now that they're gone, you have nothing. There's something that, how do I say it? Job has something that his buddies, you're going to see as we go through this, and hopefully as you read this on your own, that cannot be taken away from Job. Even though Job gets so upset, his physical problems, the urgency of where he finds himself in his life, he never crosses the line to sin. See, you can run through very difficult aspects in your life, but there's never an excuse to cause you to step over the line and sin. Job does not. It's amazing. He doesn't go that far. This is Job's response to Bildad, the Shuhite. He's the smallest guy in the Bible. All right, nice. Thought I'd let you guys catch on with that. All right. Here we go. Job knows God. He says, yes, I know all this is true in principle, but how can a person be declared innocent or be made right in God's sight? If someone wanted to take God to court, would it be possible to answer him even once in 1,000 times? For God is so wise and so mighty. Who has ever challenged him successfully? Without warning, he moves the mountains, overturning them in his anger. He shakes the earth from its place, and its foundations tremble. If he commands it, the sun won't rise and the stars won't shine. He alone has spread out the heavens and marches on the waves of the sea. He made all the stars, the Bear, the Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations of the southern sky. He does great things too marvelous to understand. He performs countless miracles. Job knows God. What I find amazing when I have been with people in their lowest of lows, in moments of tragic times in their life, if they know God, they know God. They know God so intimately that they go, he's the only one that can change this whole wreck, this whole train wreck, whatever's going on. Only he can make it. The only reason I can get through is because of God. That's it. Even though you know your friends may be saying one thing, there's just this stability, this anchor, which is the knowledge of God. And there's nothing better in your life than to have this constant and confident knowledge in God. And don't you like the way he explains God? This is how cool God is. First of all, can I take God to court? Can you take God to court? Would you like to take God to court? Any of you? Any of you that sharp that you can take God to court? One little bugger in the front thought he could just for a second, then he put his hand down. I know people who think they know more than God. Have you ever met people that think they know more than God? I've met people. They would even challenge that there is a God. And I always tell them that you can even think that you have enough cognitive thought that you can think that there is no God means that there is a God that gave you this ability to think that there might not be a God. Think about that. Let's finish Job's thought. Verse 11. Yet when he comes near, I cannot see him. When he moves by, I don't see him. If he snatches someone in death, who can stop him? Who dares to ask, what are you doing? And God does not restrain his anger. Even the monsters of the sea are crushed beneath his feet. So who am I that I should try to answer God or even reason with him? This is, by the way, what I'm reading here, what you guys are reading right here, is as close as one of the closest time is, and God will rebuke him later on, we'll see, as close as Job gets to stepping over that line. Just right here. Verse 14, so who am I that I should try to answer God or even reason with him? Even if I were right, I would have no defense. I could only plead for mercy. And even if I summoned him and he responded, I'm not sure he would listen to me. For he attacks me with a storm and repeatedly wounds me without cause. He will not let me catch my breath, but fills me instead with bitter sorrow. If it's a question of strength, he's the strong one. If it's a matter of justice, who dares summon him to court? Though I am innocent, my own mouth would pronounce me guilty. Though I am blameless, it would prove make me wicked. I am innocent, but it makes no difference to me. I despise my life. Innocent or wicked, it is all the same to God. That's why I say he destroys both the blameless and the wicked. When a plague sweeps through, he laughs at the death of the innocent. The whole earth is in his hands of the wicked, and God blinds the eyes of the judges. If he's not the one who does it, who is? My life passes more swiftly than a runner. It flees away without a glimpse of happiness. It despairs life. It despairs like a swift papyrus boat, like an eagle swooping down on its prey. If I decide to forget my complaints, to put away my sad face and be cheerful, I would still dread all the pain, for I know you will not find me innocent. Oh God, whatever happens, I will be found guilty. So what's the use of trying? Even if I have to wash myself with soap and clean up with lye, would you plunge me into a muddy ditch, and my own filthy clothing would hate me? God is not immortal like me, so I cannot argue with him or take him to trial. If only there were a mediator between us, someone who could bring us together. The mediator could make God stop beating me, and I would no longer live in terror of his punishment. Then I could speak to him without fear, but I cannot do that in my own strength. What I find so interesting about Job's monologue. God isn't speaking yet, so it's just a monologue, not a dialogue. He is. Bildad and Zophar and Eliphaz, they're hanging out, and I know they hear all this stuff, and they're listening to him to just complain to God. But as you guys, as you've read these complaints, as you read this on your own, you guys can come up to get ready to sing. We're trying to have a smoother transition. I know that was smooth, wasn't it? Why don't you guys come on up? We're going to get ready to close. That was smooth. Here's what I want to say. What is so cool about what I think is really mind-bending, and as we will try to finish up Job as soon as we can, but Job knows God. He knows him so well. He knows he can't take him to court. He knows he will always be found guilty and God will always be right. He knows that he is the only one that can straighten anything out. He knows it's God. He also knows I don't think I deserved it. I don't think I did any. I can't recall doing something that bad that you would do this. So, as we continue this fantastic new year of 2017, it's going to be one of the best years of your life. You got to ask yourself, how well do you know God? And you know when you get to know him. You get to know God best when there's struggles in your life. I know I hate it. Don't you hate that? You don't get up in the morning and go, boy, I hope I have a good struggle today so me and God can get tight. Then you get in a car wreck and go, oh, there's struggle number one. Or you get up, you go, hey, it's time to go to school. Kids go, no, I'm not going. There's struggles, all the time. But how well this year are you going to get to know God?